So like I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Let me know whenever you will see. Able to see?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay. So I think we made a project. In this
Mhm.
project, actually what we did, we made a simple, basically the main project.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Let me, let me explain first of all whatever we will do over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To remove this or not? So now in the
Mm-hmm.
Java, we have the first of all the controller layer. I hope you know about that or no.
Yeah. Yeah. You have told in the first class. You told.
And post that what we have,
So
which
service.
service. And post that what we have a repository.
A repository. Yeah.
Hmm. So now if you will think about that, so controller will be connect from the UI part.
Okay.
So UI always connect to the controller and back to come to the UI. And this is called particular what this is called Java part. Hmm?
Okay.
This is called basically Java or whatever we will use the Java code. And this repository will connect to
DB.
DB. So now I will work DB. I think we already covered. Now
Yeah. We covered.
we will cover this things. So this is a simple class. This is service is a interface. Service is a
Mm-hmm.
interface
This.
and
Okay.
will connect to the service IMPL class. Service IMPL implementation. IMPL is called a implementation. So,
Okay.
so this is a class
Mm-hmm.
or this is a interface.
Okay.
Hmm. So repository is also interface and will connect to that. Will connect bolo repository IMPL.
Welcome. Okay.
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 Oh, these two are interface and we are connecting to the cloud.
So
Okay.
so this is also the class and this is the interface. This is the implementation. This is the interface. This is the
Yes.
implementation.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So basically what we do generally let me explain generally what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically create a class. We generally
Mm-hmm.
create an interface. Suppose interface
Mm-hmm.
I am creating I. Hmm?
Okay.
Inside that I'm creating suppose void a method or test method.
Okay.
Void test. Suppose that I'm creating a class. The
Mm-hmm.
class should be same. The name is that IMPL
Okay.
implementation and
Mm-hmm.
implements
Hi.
I and post that what we will provide this method test. So what we will do we will so
Just write some logic.
write some correct void and I'm writing test. Inside that I'm writing system dot out dot println test.
Okay.
I'm not doing more than close close.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we will create the object of this class, this is the so how we will create? We will create I
MPL.
I equals to new IMPL. Think about that. Basically, there is a two way. You can create I MPL, I
Yeah.
equals to new
U of IMPL.
IMPL. So if you are creating this one, then
Mm.
this is only the class part.
Yeah.
The object of the class and reference is also the of the class. So
Yeah.
you basically abstraction didn't implement here
Mm.
because you are taking this part as a class.
Okay.
Whenever you will create this is called the object. Think about there are the two part. One is the object, one is the reference. This is called the object. Object
Mm-hmm.
always will create of the class and will create with new keyword.
Yeah.
You can understand right now, but we can copy and something else later. But now you can understand whenever
Yeah.
we are creating this with the keyword new and you can understand object will
Mm.
create from the class only, IMPL only,
Yeah.
and it will
Yeah.
store into the interface reference. Reference
Oh,
should be
interface.
yes, interface. This is the main thing. If you are taking the reference of class, then abstraction didn't implement. So this code basically this will be in service folder. This will be in service folder, and all class will be in. Tell me if you are understanding. Service
In
IMPL.
IMPL class.
Similar, we will put into the repository and repository IMPL. Are you
Yeah.
understanding?
Yeah.
And how we'll make a object of this like that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm creating the folder structure and we'll start this work. So
Okay.
let me go to the student. Let me create first folder is let me create a basically package that is called the controller. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Second package would be
Service.
service. Third package would be
Repository.
repository. Inside that service, you can create the service IP.
Mm-hmm.
Or outside also create, but better it you can create inside that service and uh, IMPL.
Okay.
Repository also create IMPL.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So now suppose I'm creating a class.
Okay.
Class name is the basically the student. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm creating a student repository.
Okay.
Repository IMPL. This is the name every time. Suppose student is a class name, then student repository IMPL, student service IMPL, student service IMPL. Student
Mm-hmm.
controller would be student. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating this one, enter. It is coming this one and saved. Okay. And now I'm creating a interface, create Java class, basically the student
Student interface.
repository.
Okay.
Student repo. This is the name. Sorry,
Okay.
repo, and I'll dig interface. Hmm.
Okay.
And it should be coming to that which package? This package.
Okay.
Uh,
That package we didn't create. We have only that.
refactor, rename, change structure, name, boundary. I want to put into that. No class to repository.
We don't have that.
We have no
Yeah.
repository.
Oh, it's
Okay.
okay.
Understanding
So
now?
yeah.
Same, I'll create inside that. What I'll do, I'll create
Yes.
now class one. What is the class? Class would be
Student service.
student service,
Yeah.
and post that. What will happen?
Interface.
I create a student. Oh, sorry, student service. I created na.
Yeah, you create student service. It should be IMPL, right?
It should be
Okay.
IMPL. Let me create a student service interface. Hmm. Student service interface. Oh, I can't create that one. Let me rename first. Refactor, rename, service IMPL. Okay, ji.
Okay.
Now let me create this uh, student service.
Interface.
This would be interface, correct. Now let me refactor this one first. Refactor and move class and change this path. So it will come to that inside that. Are you okay now?
Yeah.
IMPL, basically there is
Uh,
repository and you all those things now coming. And controller also have this class name is the student.
okay.
This is class. So let me have this. Suppose IMPL has basically will have the four methods.
Mm-hmm.
Or you basically this method would be have the four methods. First method would be suppose void hmm,
Mm-hmm.
student add,
Okay.
and will take student type of the bean. Bean is a what is the bean over here? Whenever I am calling the bean, then bean is a class. Then we will
Mm-hmm.
pass from controller to service, service to repository.
Okay.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the benefit of this? We will communicate from here to there. Whenever we will call a function, then we will pass a class instead of passing the all variables.
Okay.
As a parameter, we will pass a class. So we will have a folder that is called a bean.
Mm-hmm.
This is called a package is called beans, and inside that I'm creating a class that is a class name is the student beans. Student
B.
bean. In this bean, I will have the all fields. So how many fields we have? We have long student ID. We have whatever the table fields, whatever we have. Let me put over here.
Oh,
In this table of the students, we will enter this students details over here.
student.
Student roll number, name, mobile, email, course, and branch. Is it correct?
Okay.
So student ID, string,
String. Student name.
student name. Sorry, should be like that. And what is the
Mobile number.
string is to email, and long is to mobile number.
Yeah.
Mobile number, and post that what we have. We have
Course.
course. So we have the integer course right now. I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
integer as a course ID.
Mm-hmm.
Course ID
Branch.
int as a, sorry, is to course ID, na? Student course ID and student, it should be S should be small. This is the student, what was it?
Branch. Branch ID.
Branch ID, yes, branch ID or something.
Yeah, branch.
Branch ID. Okay, these are my bean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm passing this bean as inside that I'm passing this bean student bean as a student bean. Okay. Let me add. I'm not providing. I'm giving this definition only. Okay. So what I'm doing,
Okay.
void add. Okay. This
Mm-hmm.
one. Are you clear over here?
Yeah.
Or I'm returning suppose string. String is an error or something. It will provide this result. It is basically successful or not.
Okay.
Second, what I'm doing add. I'm doing student update.
Okay.
Student update will take the bean and will update the data and will provide the result. Third one, I'll have, what I allow?
Stu-
Tell me.
Student. Huh?
Student delete,
Delete. Oh, okay. Pay fees.
and I'm talking about the student operation now. I'm inserting, deleting, updating, and showing only the student table.
Okay. Okay.
Student table
Okay.
first
Okay.
of all. We'll move to the fee later.
Okay.
So it should be long, and I'll take a student ID or student roll number, whatever I am taking. I'm taking the
Student
student
ID.
ID. Okay,
Yeah.
or you can take the student roll number. It would be better. It will be matched, no?
Yeah.
So now student roll number, and it should be predefined. Not put the ABC like that. It would be better. Everybody can understand. Okay, and what I will delete and will provide the string result, and
Long.
we will get. Suppose I'm getting the basically the result of the student. I'm getting the student being, and I'm getting the student get. Okay,
Okay.
get details. And what I'll have, I'll pass this roll number and we'll get this result. Okay, ji?
Okay.
And I'll get a list of hmm,
Mm-hmm.
student beans,
In.
and we'll get the get all student. Okay, there is nothing will pass and will take. Let me add this list. Java.utils. Okay,
Total.
so these are my methods that I
Mhm.
want to implement over here. Are you okay on that part?
Yeah.
Now I make into the interface. Now what I want to do now, this is the service, suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm creating these same methods into that
Repository.
repository. So I'm going to the repository and repository IMPL first and create the same methods here. I'll implement from the repository. I created that one. That's fine. Control S. And whenever I'm coming over here and I'm writing implements student repository, Then it will ask, go there, it will give the error. Whenever you click over here, implement methods. Click over there. Every method would be implemented by default. It is saying the
Okay.
all method, yes, or you can select that one. I need the all method. I'll select this,
Mhm.
this. Okay. The now we are implemented and returning null like that. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I want to do, I want to return as a system.out.println. Hmm.
Mhm. Okay.
System dot is out. Is out.
Actually, we are doing this in repository, not in student service IMPL.
Pardon, sorry.
We are doing this in student repository IMPL, but we didn't do anything in student service IMPL.
We will do. We will do. We will coming from the reverse. No? First of all, we will
Oh,
implement it to the service and post that. Sorry, repository. Post that come to the service and post that will come into that controller.
okay.
We will work always reverse. We explain to the database, now explain to the Java, now explain to the UI. That is the way
Okay.
to the implement the project. Otherwise, if you implement from the front end, you can't implement and you can design this project. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So actually, I understood your question. Actually, we started from the IS service example. I should not.
yeah. Yeah.
I should not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should start it from the repository itself. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now coming to that. So repository now I'm writing student details saved successfully. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm just putting over there. Nothing I'm doing. And
Mhm.
instead of this one, I'm returning that one. Sorry. I'm doing return this value. Okay.
Okay.
So now it will be written. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, what will return? Return this one.
Updated.
Student details updated. Hmm?
Yeah.
And in this case, student detail deleted. Behind the scene, we nothing we are doing now. We are just
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the structure, and post that we will do the
Okay.
same thing. And we are getting returning what we should return. I'm returning null. Suppose I'm not doing anything over here. Okay, on this part. Come to that.
Mm-hmm.
Which part? I have the interface over here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? And I'll come to that service IMPL. And what should I do? Implements
Implements
mhm,
student service.
student
Service.
service. You are correct. And same error come implements method. Yes, implements. And what we should do over here? Tell me now. Inside that, first of all, make a object of repository. How will make? Tell me.
Make
In
an
this service class, we'll call the repository method.
okay.
Hmm?
Service class. Okay.
Hmm. Tell
Okay,
me.
then
How will create the object? We will create a student service instead of a student repository, and it would be student repository equals to
mhm.
new. Tell me, student
Boot.
repository IMPL.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
This is the interface. This is a IMPL. Understanding or not?
yeah. I'm understanding, but it's inside the student service. Is that okay?
Where it is a student service?
This
Actually,
is the student service IMPL class, right?
huh,
In that you're creating for student repository. It's in different package.
that's why I'm saying I'm creating an object of that. How basically I explained to you, I need to be connect this service to repository. How it will be called? I will create a object inside this service. and I'll call
Mm.
the repository. So think about that. This service, this controller will connect to the service. So how will connect?
Okay.
So you will create a object or reference inside the controller of service class, and you will call the method of service class. Service class will implement the service IMPL, and service IMPL will create the repository interface, and repository interface connect to this, and this would be coming to the DB. Are you understanding?
Oh,
So
okay.
if suppose how will communicate? Suppose if I'll not communicate service class to repository, then communication is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
way to the connect to the create the object and call the method of that particular class. So now
Okay.
what I'm doing, I'm creating is basically this student repository object. Now instead of doing anything, I'm calling this method repository dot student add and pass this whatever bean I am receiving, I am passing to the repository. So service class now doing nothing doing, it is calling the repository method.
Okay.
Are you understanding or not? And
Yeah.
returning to the controller.
Okay.
Are you understanding or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now tell me the what will happen over here. Student repository, sorry,
Dot student
repository dot
student update.
student update and pass the same bean over here.
Okay.
And what will happen over here?
Same student repository dot student delete.
Pass this roll number. Okay, ji. And
Okay.
what we should do over here, the same thing we do over here also.
Student repository dot student get details.
Uh, Provided string and required student bean. We are getting this student not student get detail na. We should get
Mm.
take the get details na. And same we should return from here that all student. Whatever we are
Student.
getting, we should get no problem. So now what we do generally into the service class, basically we write the logic. What we do,
Mm-hmm.
we write logic.
Logic.
What is the meaning of the logic? Logic means suppose you want to basically calculate something, you are getting the principal amount, you want to calculate the
Mm-hmm.
interest and put into the table.
Yeah.
So or you want to basically you have the payment and you want to calculate the GST and all those things and save it to that. So if you are calculating the GST or something else, then we will use over here.
Okay.
So calculation part, everything would be happen into the service. In related
Okay.
to the database will happen into the repository. Controller will
Mm-hmm.
connect to the validation part that will become from the front end and will accept always the request from the front end and will have the all validation. So now I can do all things into a single class also. Okay. But
Okay.
this would not be a good for the big projects. If you have the 20-30 classes, that's fine, you can manage. If you have the couple of thousands classes, then hopefully you can't manage them. So in that
Okay.
case, what we do generally create a layer wise projects. So we have the three layers. One is the controller layer, second is the service layer, implementation is the service IMPL, and third one is the repository and implementation by the repository IMPL.
Okay.
So controller will create. Now suppose I need, what I have to do now? Tell me. Next step. I created the service. If you think about it, service is calling which method? If you click this, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
This is let me explain. This is the service sample.
Yeah.
So if you will click this method, then which method will be open? This method.
Yeah,
This one is the
repository.
repository. Okay.
Okay.
And it is implemented by the repository IMPL. That's fine. It will call
AMPL.
automatically. Now, what should I do now? Tell me. I should
Connect to the.
connect to node controller also, na?
Yeah, yeah, control.
Go to the controller. So controller, should I create a method inside that? Let me put, suppose this is a UI part. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm creating a public static void main. Public static. I'll run always this class void main. Post that I will remove these things and will accept all things from front end.
From UI. Yeah.
I think hopefully you are understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
If you face any doubt, I'm explaining the whatever we do in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I can explain the logic is, you can do whatever, but this is the implementation into the industries,
Yeah, yeah.
so you can understood whatever we are doing, you can do better. So now
Yeah.
I'm inserting the data.
Mm-hmm.
I'm void, or let me call this, first of all, let me create a student bean. Student bean, student bean equals to new
Student.
student bean I created. Let me set these values. Student dot set. Oh, I didn't create getter setter, na?
Yeah.
So do you know the getter setter?
Yeah, yeah. Beans.
So there are the two way. One way you can create the getter setter of each one, or either you can put the at the rate data. So at the rate getter, not taking. So let me check. This is a framework in the file. There is a project settings. Into the setting we have plugin and type the long bar. Long bar. Where is the long bar? What is the spelling of long bar? Okay. Let me see over here. Long bar. Long bar moving dependencies. This is the long bar. Okay.
Okay.
And let me take this. Actually, this there is a two way I can create lomba.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain to you. So repository, I think you are understanding.
Yeah.
So
For what? It's for creating getters and setters?
yes, suppose I'll create this one. Suppose I'm getting over here, I'm creating, right click, and I'm creating generate,
Generate.
and I'm clicking getter and setter.
The,
I'm selecting all things,
mm-hmm.
and I'm creating. That is the one thing. So
Yeah.
that is also fine. But second thing, there is no need to create this one. Actually, one,
Mm-hmm.
one dependency will provide automatically. So
Oh.
how we'll do? Let me put take these dependencies. This is the way to the better.
Oh.
Long book should be long book or long bar. I'm not sure. Let me check the long book domain dependency for getter setter. Or let me check. Getter getter setter long book or long book something. Long book will be stripped matching. Okay, this is the long book. It is correct. So
Mm-hmm.
let me copy this one and go to the my project, and project is where this one, and open the pom.xml and put this dependency. Okay,
Okay.
whenever I'm putting this one, uh, Is giving the error. Okay, so sorry.
Dependencies, no?
I put it into the wrong place. I should
Mm.
put over here. Now it is fine. Only the version is issue. Whenever I'm refreshing, version should become. If you will see over here, then it is resolving the dependency. Are you able to see? Now it is
Oh,
now it is resolved. Resolved means
oh,
we received this long bar over here. Okay.
okay.
So now let me go at the student bean and try to add the rate data.
Yeah.
Data means getter and setter is already created. Okay. If
Okay.
if you are writing at the rate getter, this is the getter. So it is only
Mm-hmm.
the getter. Whenever you are providing the setter, then you have the setter only. Okay.
Okay.
So now let me provide the data. Data means getter and setter.
Okay.
Are you understanding or not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we are using this pattern, so you will be good if you will understand, as you will not understand what is happening over there. I'm coming over there.
Okay.
I'm setting. Now I can set, this is the, I'm getting the set and set. So set
Mm-hmm.
student roll number. So I'm setting 1001 L.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking long and post that whatever I'm taking student. I'm taking student b dot set name
Okay.
Radheshyam dot set email radhe.s at uh, outlook.com
Okay.
and put into that brackets. That would be fine. And post that student bean dot set a mobile number suppose 9988777655 L, and post that we have dot set
Course.
course ID. I think we are
Yeah.
taking 101 or something,
101.
and student bean dot set is, we are taking
Branch it.
uh, batch ID whatever we are taking
One or two. Not
one. So this is, I created a bean. Now what I want to do, I want to make a object of which class, which I'll create a, first of all, the object of service class. So how should I?
okay.
So student
Service.
service
We call
and
C.
service same equals to
Okay.
same object,
New
new
student service.
IMPL, huh?
Yeah, sorry, student service IMPL.
And we'll call, now I make a bean and set the data, and I'll call this dot student add and pass this bean, hmm?
Okay.
And I'll get a string as a result, huh? And I'll put the s out over here, result. Okay,
Okay.
are you understanding or not?
Yeah, yeah.
So now think about the flow. So main program will be run. So student service will add method will be called this method, and whenever we'll go, this method is go to that implementation, and implementation is this into the service IMPL, and service
Okay.
IMPL basically calling this repository dot
Repository.
student add. So if you'll go,
Mm.
there is two way. If you control and click this method, then we'll go to the interface.
Mm-hmm.
If you will go the control plus alt, then you will go to the implementation. I'm going the
Oh,
implementation, and now this line will be replaced with the DB part.
okay.
Okay, only this part. This line would be replaced with the DB part.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so now let me rerun that one. Let me run and let me check the output. Hmm. So
Okay.
I'm the student, I'm running this class, getting the values. Okay, student details saved successfully, but
Mm-hmm.
we didn't connect to the DB.
Yeah.
Let me write the DB code now. Are you okay till now, or do you have doubt?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Project structure wise, you are okay?
Okay. In controller, we are creating a object for service, and in service, we are creating an object for repository.
Repository. And the object is how we'll create interface as a reference
Class and
and
yeah.
object of the class. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm moving to the DB part. DB part means I'm going to that IMPL now and I'm working to the DB part. DB is the IMPL. Only this would be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm deleting this one and I'm replacing something. Hmm. How will you do this one? I'm explaining to you. Let me take a suppose there is a repository. There might be, let me check. There is a repository IMPL. Okay. I'm taking this. I'm where the student. I'm putting this one and explaining to you what we are doing over here. Okay.
Okay.
One step I'm explaining. Okay. So let me import this one. Connection dot this one. This is the class that I'm importing. Okay.
Okay.
So now, okay. So now think about that class dot for name. Hmm? So this is basically the class driver. Okay. That means this is the Postgres database. Which database we need to be connect? That is a basically the class, and inside this class there is a method that we can connect. Okay.
Okay.
So generally we will load the driver of that particular database. First of all, at the runtime, there are the two type of the, two, we can run the two times. Whenever you are adding the Maven dependencies, then project would be compiled and load the class. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
But runtime, if you want to load a class at the runtime, then you will write the class dot for name and you will provide that particular the class path. So you have the
Okay.
org Postgres driver, and that class would be will add into the dependencies later. We will add, okay.
Okay.
And post that I am getting the get connections, add exception. I added yes. So now this is the JDBC Postgres. This is the standard JDBC Postgres colon
Mm-hmm.
hyphen hyphen. This is the IPO system where database is existing. So my database in my local system, I'm putting local IP, localhost. Okay.
Okay.
This is the post and this is the database name. Whatever the database
Okay.
name we are using, tell me database
Post
name.
data student.
Where the database name?
Mm,
Yes, student. This is the student. Correct. You are correct. So let me put the student over here. Okay.
okay.
This is the database and this is the user ID and password of this
Yeah.
database. Okay. I think you are correcting over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever you will write the insert into student, this is the SQL, and the how many values we have, the six values, 3 or 3 6. This is the
Mm-hmm.
query, and we will replace these parameters as a value.
Okay.
Okay, this is the statement, and value is the one. So into that which parameters? Suppose set long. I need to set a long. We are setting is a long, and
Mm-hmm.
what I am passing over here, I am passing student bean dot in the one place. What should I do? One place
Roll
means
number.
this would be replaced. First one,
Mhm.
student dot get roll number.
Roll.
So this roll number will be replaced by the first place. First place means this. This would be roll number. Second would be, tell me,
Get name.
student bean. So
Dot
student
get
bean
name.
dot get
Student name.
the student name. Third one, student bean dot
Get him student email ID.
check over there. It will replace according to that. So into the table, what we are doing,
That is
student
email
roll number,
ID.
name, mobile, and email. Hmm?
Okay.
So put over here. Otherwise, we will get the error, na? Get
Mm-hmm.
student mobile. Whatever parameter
Yeah.
is coming, that's fine. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it should be long, set long instead of set long, and post that would be as the email. It should be
Yes.
set string and student bean dot get student
Email.
email student email.
Okay.
I put the stu email instead of stu. Okay, and
Okay.
fifth is the student
Course ID.
course student course
ID.
ID course ID, and let me put student branch ID.
Yeah. Branch ID.
I set it over here and I execute this one. This is the result, and I close that one. I inserted that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
What is the best way? Best way is put like that. This is a debugger. I will debug the code now. I will not run blindly. I will run line by line and I'll check where is the error or something is happening. Okay.
Okay.
So let me run this code and understand. I'll run controller only. Okay.
Okay.
And over here there is a debug, or
Mm-hmm.
click over here. This is the debug this one,
Okay.
and I'm getting this add exception. Okay, let me handle this exception instead of throws. Let me handle this. Let me put this one into the
Try catch.
try catch, surrounded with try catch. And instead of this, let me put the all things into the try catch. Hmm.
Okay.
This one should be in try. Okay, and it should be the exception. You put the exception would be cover.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me put, I put it over here. Okay, into the try catch. And what is the error? Return should be control X. Instead of this, it should be over here. Oh, that control X and put over here. Okay, are you
Okay.
understanding now?
Yeah.
So now what I'm doing, let me explain to you. It will come to this one, and let me put over here. If you want to put exception should not be there now. What is the problem? Parental exception. Okay. Controller also has something. Okay. But try catch is there. I'm not sure what is happening, but let me run. Let me now debug this code, and this code is debugging, and it is came cursor came into the repository. Okay, I put it to the this red mark over here.
Mm-hmm.
F8 will move to the next line. Whenever I press the F8, I go into the cache. I am getting the error. What is the error? Java.lang class not found. This is not found. Okay, so
Okay.
whenever you will click, just go there, click on the plus, or whatever, you can do the F8, and you will get this console. Into the console, student, because we are returning this into the but this is the problem is that, what is the error? Class not found exception. Okay,
Okay.
org this driver. So just copy this error anytime. Just copy this error like
Mm-hmm.
that. Control C and go to the Google, and Google will tell you which error this. I know whatever the error, but you should understand how to
Okay.
solve the problem. Go there,
Stack Overflow.
and select this one and check. I'm getting this one, this one, this one. So the problem is that Gradle or Maven, this dependencies is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Okay.
copy these dependencies, put into POM file.
Pom.xml.
Correct. Go there, put into open the POM file, and replace this one. This is actually not a dependency. There is there is no need that I explained previously
Mm-hmm.
to you.
Yeah.
Or now you can add second dependencies. Control S. Okay. Now
Okay.
let me refresh. This is fine. Let me rerun again now. Go there, debug, cursor will goes to that repository IMPL. Let press F8. Yes, now class is found. Okay, class is
Okay.
loaded. Now the connection is loaded. F8. Let's check if connection is breaking or connection is creating. I think. Let me check the database. Whatever we are setting over here in the student 101L. No?
Branch ID also, I think it's 101.
Branch ID is fine. Suppose I'm inserting, but my question is that if suppose I'm taking this query tool or view edit data old row over here, then
Mm-hmm.
data is 101 is already there, no? So
Oh.
it should give the error as per my understanding. What error should
Mm-hmm.
become? What error should become?
Um,
Primary key.
Primary key. Yeah.
It will also give because the same thing is happening. Hmm. Yeah, Vinita. Hello. Yeah, Vinita. Tell me. Hello. Yeah, Vinita. Tell me. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. I'm closing that. So now,
Hello, hi.
hi. Okay. Okay, Alaika. We'll stop and we'll start
Okay.
tomorrow. Okay.
Sure.
I
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
other stream members are joining the same channel, and
Okay.
they want to take. So Alaika will continue tomorrow.
Sure.